Today we continue Ariyavasa Sutta. First we have to recite Ariyavasa Sutta Pali. Can you follow me? Dasa ime bhagave Ariyavasa Yeriya Awase Suva Awasantiwa Awase Santiwa Kadame Dasa Ida Bekwe Beku Pinjingawe Pinahodi Chalinga Samanagado Ekareko Chatura Pasino Panona Pichega Sijam Samawaya Satisano Nawila Singapore Pasada Gaya Singaro Suimoda Jada Suimoda Binyo. We recite together. Dasa ime bhagave Ariyavasa Yeriya Awase Suva Awasantiwa Awase Santiwa Kadame Dasa Ida Bhagave Bhikkhu Pinjingawe Bino Hodi Chalinga Samanagado Ekareko Chatura Basino Panona Vijega Sija Samawaya Satisano Nawila Singapore Pasada Gaya Singaro Suimoda Jada Suimoda Binyo. Masi Sierra aphorism. Can you follow me? To abandon the 5 factors, to be fulfilled with the 6 factors, and 1 protection, to depend on the 4 supports, and to dispel personal truths, to be free from searching, to have pure thoughts, to calm the in and out breath, to have a well-liberated mind, and well-liberated wisdom. The fully enlightened Buddha expounded the 10 features of Ariyavasa. So we go to Pinjinga Wepino. Regarding this, Buddha described these 5 factors. Katinja Bhikkhve Bhikkhu Pinjinga Wepino Hodi. Bhikkhus, how has a bhikkhu practitioner abandoned the 5 factors? And Buddha answered, Ida bhikkhve bhikkhuno kamichanno bino hodi pyabado bino hodi tinamaidan bina hodi odija kukojan bina hodi vichigeja bina hodi. Here, a bhikkhu practitioner has abandoned sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and remorse, and skeptic and doubt. It is in this way that a bhikkhu practitioner has abandoned 5 factors. And we finish Kamechanda, Vyavada, and now Sthina Medha. That hindrance, we have to encounter sloth and torpor. So sloth and torpor is there when lazy to do something beneficial, lazy to do kusala, wholesome deeds, lazy to perform charity, lazy to observe sila, lazy to practice bhavana meditation. Dana, small amounts of charity you can perform, but lazy to do. If you perform charity, you feel very happy. So that kinds of wholesome deeds, lazy to perform. Morality, observing morality guarantee you not to fall down to the lower states when you die, but lazy to undertake the moral precepts. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Samavaja, Samakamanta, and Samaajiva. They are called virati, abstention. In Pali, it is called Sampata virati, Samadhana virati, and Samocheda virati. So yogi need to practice abstention, 3 kinds of abstention. Sampata virati, abstention on occasion. Samadhana virati, abstention by observant. Samocheda virati, abstention by total eradication. Sometimes you don't observe any particular precepts in daily life, but when you actually meet the situation in which you might do something wrong, you abstain. You're not lazy, you try to abstain from doing wrong. You reflect on your birth, age, experience, and so on, and you reflect, it is not suitable for me to do such a things. You reflect in this way, you try to reflect very positive, then you abstain. So that kinds of sila, that kinds of abstention is called abstention by occasion. Then you come for retreat, 2 months intensive retreat. You take precepts every day, not 5 precepts, 8 precepts, you take every day. And also daily life, at home you also take 5 precepts. You're not lazy to take. Panatipata Viramani Sikkhapada Samadhiyami. I undertake the training precepts to refrain from killing. Adenadana Viramani Sikkhapada Samadhiyami. I undertake the training precepts to refrain from stealing, etc. And in the intensive retreat, you take precepts, 8 precepts. And you take precepts and later meet a situation in which you might do wrong, but you're not lazy. You put effort. You try to abstain from doing wrong because you remember you have taken the precepts. So your abstention, your sila, is said to be abstention by observance. Samadhana virati. Intensive retreat, you practice very seriously. And then your sila getting pure and pure. And when your vipassana is acknowledged, getting strengthened, and then your abstention is accomplished through your total eradication of mental defilements. At the moment when you enter the noble path, Ariya Mega, because you try so hard, you're not lazy, you practice continuously and seriously. So your sila is called Samocheda Virati, abstention by total eradication. And you're not lazy to do metta chanting, you're not lazy to recite sutta, etc. You're not lazy to listen to Dhamma talk, especially regarding vipassana. You practice intensive retreat diligently. Early morning you wake up and the whole day you practice diligently. So you are not lazy. Some people practice meditation but not energetically and wholeheartedly because they're lazy. Other people are lazy even to come to the meditation center. If you ask them, you want to be liberated from aging, sickness and death? They say, yes, I want to be free from aging, sickness and death. I want to attain nirvana. But they are lazy to practice meditation. That is directly conducive to the attainment of nirvana. So every noting is very important for you. You are getting closer and closer to reach nirvana by noting thoroughly. So some people are even willing to listen to a Dhamma talk. Some people love to listen the Dhamma talk, but they are lazy to put it into practice diligently. And other people come and practice, but not effectively because they are lazy. So there is how Tina Meda, sloth and torpor or laziness forms an obstacle to the spiritual attainment. Tinameda Sloth Temple is compared to a jail where criminals are imprisoned. Prisoners do not have the opportunity to enjoy any entertainment at cinemas, theaters, and other places. Normal people are free to go to enjoy this entertainment. They are at liberty to take merry and recall their enjoyment. It is like cattle chewing the cud. They delightfully share with each other their experience of wonderful entertainment, recalling how pleasantly the music is played, how melodiously the actors speak, how charming the singer is, how beautiful these dancers are, and so on. They recall, they delightfully share their experience. In this way, these ordinary people enjoy the several kinds of entertainment, comedy, thrillers, tragedy, or whatsoever. But a prisoner cannot get a chance to enjoy such entertainment. Prisoner cannot take much delight in the entertainment narrated by other people because he has no own experience. In the same way, a lazy person would not come to listen to a Dhamma talk, especially Vipassana talk. Even if people share this talk with him by explaining what the topic of the talk was and how Vipassana is elaborated and so on, the person would not be able to appreciate the Dhamma. In this way, even at the very beginning, the lazy person has lost the taste of the Dhamma. Of course, only those people who have practiced the Dhamma can appreciate the unique flavor of the Dhamma. Here, intensive retreat, yogi practiced sincerely and they reported their experience of Dhamma. And they just reported about their own experience. The teacher don't need to say anything in advance about what to experience. But the yogi himself or herself experience the taste of Dhamma. Some yogis experiencing the unique flavor of the Dhamma become so joyous that teacher have to remind them because if too much joyous feeling would delay the further progress in the practice of meditation. So teacher have to remind them not to waste the time enjoying the flavor of Dhamma long. Indeed, unique is the taste of the Dhamma As the Buddha said in this way, Sabba rasa Dhamma raso jinati. The Dhamma flavor excel any flavor else. There are different kinds of flavors in our life. You can experience one kind of flavor when eating, any kinds of flavor when seeing, some kinds of flavor in smelling, some kinds of flavor of touching, or anything else you name. None of these flavor can compete with the Dhamma flavor. At one time, female yogi reported a unique experience of Dhamma flavor. The Dhamma flavor cannot be compared to any flavor as on earth. The yogi said she had enjoyed many different kinds of flavor in her life, like flavor in her successful business, flavor in her happy marriage, happy vacation, and so on. Then she reported inspiringly that she had found the Dhamma flavor excelled any flavor else. Most probably, many of you in this retreat have ever experienced the taste of the Dhamma. So those people who practice without laziness can experience the taste of Dhamma, but the unique taste of Dhamma can not be shared with any non-meditators, particularly with lazy people who never practice meditation. However much we speak in praise of the Dhamma flavor, non-meditators would not understand it, like someone who cannot understand the flavor of the food that he or she has never tasted, no matter however articulately you explain the flavor of the food. So the flavor can be understood only with our own experience. So only meditators can understand the Dhamma flavor. Indolent people are totally in the dark about the Dhamma that progressively leads to the bliss of Megaphala and Nibbana, cessation of all suffering. If we are lazy, we would miss the great opportunity, although we live during the shining glory of holy order. That is why a lazy person is compared to a prisoner who has no access to enjoyment. So we should not put ourselves in the jail of laziness. We should try our best to get free from laziness, like a prisoner who always try his best to be released from jail. True, it is not unusual that we are sometimes lazy to do something beneficial. We are lazy to do kusala, wholesome deeds. Laziness may not be always a big problem in daily life. Daily life, sometimes we lazy, but during intensive meditation, it is very important to note and remove laziness, remove sloth and torpor as soon as we notice its telltale sign, such as weariness and boredom. Another hindrance is otija and gogoja, restlessness and remorse. In this regard, there was a story of Thera Sangarakita from Dhammavada. While residing at the Jetavana monastery, Buddha uttered verse Turingama Ekachara, etc. regarding the mind with reference to the nephew of Thera's Sangarakita. So at one time, there lived in Sawati a senior bhikkhu by the name of Sangarakita. He practiced meditation and he became Arahant. So Sangarakita Thera was an Arahant. He had a sister. When her sister gave birth to a son, she named her child after the Thera Sangarakita. So the child came to be known as Sangarakita Bhagineya, the nephew Sangarakita. In due course, nephew Sangarakita was admitted into the order. While the young monk was staying in a village monastery, he was offered 2 sets of robes. And he intended to offer 1 robe to his uncle, the Thera Sangarakita. At the end of the vasa, the nephew Sangarakita went to his uncle, Thera Sangarakita, to pay respect to him and offer the robe to his uncle Thera. But the uncle, Thera Sangarakita, declined to accept his robe. He said he had enough robe, so he did not accept his robe. Although the nephew repeated his request, the Thera would not accept, and the young bhikkhu felt disheartened and thought that since his uncle was so unwilling to share the requisite with him, it would be better to him to leave the order, to disrobe, and to live the life of a layman. From that time, the mind of the young monk wandered, and a train of thoughts followed. The mind wandered, the mind have the kinds of uddhacca. So he thought that after leaving the order, he would sell the robe and buy a she-goat. That she-goat would breed quickly, and very soon he would make enough money to enable him to marry the girl he liked. And his wife would give birth to a son, and he would take his wife and child to a small cart to visit his uncle at his monastery. On the way, he would say that he would carry the child, and she would tell him to drive the cart and not to bother about the child. He would insist and grab the child from her, and the husband and wife had an argument. They argue each other, and then between them, the child would drop on the cart track, and the wheel would pass over the child. So he would get so furious with his wife that he would strike her with the golden stick. So his mind is wandering in this way. His mind is not totally there. He was fanning his Thera uncle, but mind is wandering and daydream too long. So at that time, he was fanning the Thera, his uncle, with a palmaya fan, and he absent-mindedly struck the head of the Thera with the fan. And the Thera knew the thoughts of the young bhikkhu. And the Thera said, "Young monk, you are unable to beat your wife. Why have you beaten an old monk?" His uncle told the young monk. Then the young Sangha Rakita was very much surprised and embarrassed at the words of the old monk. He also became extremely frightened, so he fled. When he fled, young monks and novices of the monastery chased him and finally took him to the presence of the Buddha. And when other monks told about the whole episode to the Buddha, and Buddha said that the mind has the ability to think of an object even though it might be far away, and that one should strive hard for liberation from the bondage of raga, dosa, moha, liberation from the bondage of passion, ill will, and ignorance. And Buddha uttered this verse during Gama Ekachara Asariran Guhatasayam Ye Chaita Sanyame Sandi Maukandi Mara Bandhana. The mind wanders far and moves about alone. The mind is non-material. The mind lies in the cave of the heart. The mind lies in the cave of the chamber of the body. Those practitioners who control their mind will be free from the bonds of Mara, the evil one. So Buddha uttered this verse, and at the end of the discourse, the young bhikkhu attained Sottapatti fruition. So in this story of Sangharakkhita, he lost in the daydream while finding his uncle, elderly monk, who was an arahant. He dreamt of disrobing, making money by breeding sheep, and getting married a girl he loved. And then he fancied arguing with his wife and hit her with a stick. Whereupon he found himself hitting the head of the elderly monk with the fan instead. So this is an example of wandering mind, uddhacca. So one dress, another one is kukucca, remorse. Remorse is a regret about mistake done verbally or physically. The person may feel sad by reflecting, it is stupid of me to have done this. It is my mistake, it is my fault. He may feel sad by reflecting in this way. In such remorse arises in meditators, yogi should note quickly and remove that remorse. A man who is in a hostage to this hindrance becomes virtually like a slave. In the olden days, when slavery was the norm, an impoverished man might be forced to become a slave of his creditor for payment of his debt, even small amount like a few dollars, few amounts of money. So as a slave, he would lose his freedom and other human rights and put himself at the mercy of his master. He had to do whatever his master asked him to do, and he had to stay whatever his master asked to stay. He had to sleep whatever his master asked to sleep. He had to eat whatever he was fed. So he would own nothing, and he could not go anywhere as he wished. The slave totally belonged to his master, who had the right to beat him, even kill him. So the person is exactly like a domestic animal and had no right to sue his master for his cruelty. So in the olden day, what a miserable life it was. For the termination of such horrible slavery, through legislation, we must appreciate the great kindness and wisdom of the social reformers in the West. Yet, even today, there are some countries, some area where the people have no human rights and are de facto slaves of the powerful elite. It is really horrible if it is true, so we should make all out effort to free ourselves from restlessness and remorse, Otija and Gogoja, that would enslave and deprive us of rights to the blissful flavor of the Dhamma. So Mausi Sayadaw have this aphorism: restlessness and remorse enslave you, note quickly, remove them immediately. So restlessness means the inability of the mind to stay with one object. Restlessness, Otija, that means shaking above. The mind cannot rest on the object, but stay above the object. It is restlessness. Kokoja, remorse, means feeling some guilt for the bad things or wrong things you have done and for the good things you have not done. Causes for arising of remorse are unwise reflection, ayoniso manasikara, on mental agitation like thinking, or the mental agitation cannot do me any harm. That is unwise reflection. It is a cause for arising of remorse. And causes for abandoning remorse are wise reflection, yoniso manasikara, on mental tranquility. When you have wise reflection on mental tranquility, you will be able to abandon restlessness and remorse. So when you experience restlessness and remorse, you know that they are present. When they have disappeared, yogi know that they are absent. That means when you experience restlessness, you make it the object of your meditation. You note attentively restlessness, 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 or I'm restless, I'm restless. Or when you experience remorse, you just note thoroughly remorse, remorse, remorse. After you have taken note of them, restlessness and remorse will disappear. They are mental state, they are very breakable. Try your best to capture them thoroughly. When they have disappeared, you become aware of their disappearing. Then you can note disappearing, disappearing, disappearing. And Kokoja is worry or remorse after having done wrong. There are two kinds of past action, past karma. bad action, bad karma, and good action, good karma. With regard to bad karma done in the past, you have remorse, you have regret. You think, I've done that wrong things. There is also remorse with regard to good things you did not do in the past. You think in this way, oh, I should have done that. So here, worry or remorse have two kinds of object. Good action, good karma, which you has not done in the past, and bad karma, bad actions, which you has done in the past. So with regard to both, there is a kind of remorse or regret, which is called kukucha. Its characteristic is subsequent regret. That means regret comes after having done or having not done. The function is to sorrow over that has been done and what has not been done. And you say, oh, I have done this akusala, ahusam, and then you have sorrow over that. I have not done this kusala, I have not done this wholesome deeds. You think and then you sorrow over it. It is manifested as remorse. Its proximate cause is what has and what has not been done. That is wrong of commission and omission. We tend to get kokocha or remorse about things done and things not done. The word kokocha has another connotation. You may not come across this connotation because it has to do with vinaya, discipline for the monk. So in the vinaya literature, kokocha can mean something positive. It is a good quality for monks to have kokocha. It is called vinaya kokocha. That means monks try to find out or they try to understand whether it is allowed for monks or whether it is not allowed for monks. Whether monks can do this or whether monks cannot do this. If it is not allowable, then they do not do it. There is sometimes what is also called kokocha, vinaya kokocha. It is not akusala, it is not unwholesome. It may be kusala, it may be wholesome deeds for monks. So that connotation you will only find in vinaya when it describes a good monk, good practitioner monk. Here in Abhidhamma, kokocha is unwholesome, it is remorse. So it is better to say the word remorse to the word worry, because worry may not necessarily be kokocha. If you worry about past action, it may be kokocha. But sometimes you worry about the future. Worry about the future is not kokocha. So we think remorse or regret is better than the word worry. So when we can abandon remorse, you practice meditation continuously and seriously, and when you become a Nagami, remorse can be abandoned. Remorse can be abandoned completely when you attain the third stage of Nagamihood. Restlessness can be abandoned completely when you attain the fourth stage of Arahanthood. So when practitioners have reached the third stage, that means when they become Anagami, they become aware of the complete abandonment of remorse. When practitioners have attained the fourth stage, when they become Arahant, they become aware of the complete abandonment of restlessness. So there are 6 things that lead to the abandonment of restlessness and remorse. One is reaching the state of being learned in the teaching of the Buddha. Practitioner try to have a good knowledge of the teaching of the Buddha. The second is inquiring about what is permissible and what is not permissible. You need to inquire. When you do something wrong, you will feel remorse. To not do wrong, you must know what is permissible for you. When the person is a bhikkhu monk, he must know what is permissible and what to avoid. He need to know. He need to learn. So to know what is permissible and what is not permissible, we help practitioner to avoid doing wrong things. Then they won't experience remorse. And the third way is understanding the disciplinary rules. It is for monks who are expected to have a good knowledge of the disciplinary rules. When bhikkhus know the disciplinary rules thoroughly, they won't do anything wrong, so they will not experience either remorse or restlessness. And the fourth way is associating with more experienced and older person in the practice of virtues like sila, etc. The fifth way is having a good friend. A good friend's Kalyanamitta can help you to abandon restlessness and remorse. And the sixth way is using suitable talk, talking about the disadvantages of restlessness and remorse, and talking about the advantages of tranquility. Practicing these 6 ways, yogi may be able to drive away restlessness and remorse. So we have to stop our discourse for today. We continue next time by practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the 6 senses, by noting rising, falling, sitting, touching, standing, walking, reclining, seeing, hearing, etc. continuously and meticulously. May all yogis dwell in the Ariyavasa, the abode of noble ones, gracefully. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. We have to recite Mahasatipatthana Odisha Bali. Ekayano ayam bhikkhave Mego Satanam Visodhiya Sogabari Devanam Samadegamaya Dogadomanasanam Atingamaya Yayasa Adigamaya Nivanasa Sachikiriyaya Yadidam Jadara Sativatana Kadame Jadara Ida Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Gaye Gayanubasi Viharati Hatabi Sambhajana Satima Vineya Loke Abhija Domanasam Vedanasu Vedananubasi Viharati Hatabi Sambhajana Satima Vineya Loke Abhija Domanasam Chaite Chaitanubasi Viharati Hadabi Sambhajana Satima Vineya Loke Abhija Domanasam Dhammesu Dhammanubasi Viharati Atabi Sambhajana Satima Vineya Loke Avijja Domanasam. English translation. This is the only way, bhikkhus. Purifications of beings for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for reaching the noble path, for the realizations of nirvana, namely the four foundations of mindfulness. What are the four? Here in the teaching, bhikkhus, A bhikkhu dwells contemplating the body in the body, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, removing desire and discontent in the world. Bhikkhu dwells contemplating the feeling in the feelings, clearly comprehending and mindful. A bhikkhu dwells contemplating the consciousness in the consciousness, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, removing desire and discontent in the world. A bhikkhu dwells contemplating the Dhamma in the Dhammas, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, removing desire and discontent in the world. Honoring and sharing merits. Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipadiya Bodham Bujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipadiya Dhammam Bujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipadiya Sangham Bujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipadiya Mata Bidara Ujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipadiya Acariye Ujemi Adaimaya Padivadaya Jaramaranama Parimojayasami Idame Bonya Asawakaya Waham Odu Idame Silam Megaphalanyanasa Pacaya Odu Imano Punya Bhagan Sabha Sadhana Dema Sabbe Saddha Sukhita Hondu Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.